What's up, guys? Go Get 'em Sports pregame show here at Week 3 of the NFL. Back with my boy Shane Williamson, ready to break
Mm-hmm.
down every single game and some fantasy football, of course, at the end of the show. Let's hop right into the first one. Chiefs take on the Colts. Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock game. Chiefs open up at 6, goes 6.5. Now it's down to 5.5. Shane, what do you see here in this one?
Chiefs don't cover. I think that's the main story of this. Colts get everybody back. They need to bounce back after the abysmal performance last week. After getting shut out by the Jaguars. They're at home. I guess that helps them. I think this is their home opener. I want to say. This is a big game for Frank Reich because he could be canned at some point during the season if this doesn't go well.
It could be after this game if they get blown out.
I think 3 weeks is too soon. Like I would start thinking around like week 8, 9, maybe then we're gonna start seeing some people get tossed, and there's other people that we can mention later. I mean the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're just gonna find a way to put up points. It's just a matter if the Colts can actually put up points. Because I think they have like 3 first half points this season. So if they can't start off strong, or at least close, I don't see a way that they could even surpass that in the second half.
For sure. I think it's just a huge game for India. Must-win game for not just their coach, but their team in general. I mean, you saw the year of 0-3 in the NFL. It's pretty hard to one make the playoffs, 2 make a stance in the playoffs, and have a chance at doing something successful in the year. Teams who start 0-2 since 2020 have not made the playoffs at all.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention that. So
they're already off
for a
to
lot.
they're already off to a bad start. So
that looks bad for a lot of teams that you thought would be vying for a playoff
Bengals,
spot. Raiders, Titans.
So huge game for Colts. I think Chiefs win it, but I don't know if they cover the spread.
I have Chiefs winning, Colts covering.
Look at the money report as of right now. 93% of the money and 92% of the bets coming in at -5.5. So obviously Vegas, as usual, going to need the opposite side of the Colts to cover the spread to have a win this Sunday. So I'll take the points here and with Vegas. All right, next one. Pretty interesting game. Maybe the best game in the 1 o'clock window. Buffalo takes on Miami. Buffalo sitting at a 4.5-point favorite here tomorrow, in the 1 o'clock window. Money wise, I believe, of course, all the Bills. 88% of the money on the Bills, 78% of the bets on the Bills at 4.5, and they're also hammering the over in this game at 53.
Well, it's hard to bet against the Bills. They've looked dominant first 2 weeks. One against the defending Super Bowl champs, who, mind you, don't look like them from last year. But I have made a stance to myself because I picked against the Bills twice already this year, and they've backhanded me in the slightest. So I have set my foot down, and I am not going against the Bills until they lose. Even though this line looks really sketchy, I like the under in this game because both these defenses are actually pretty decent.
Yeah. Again, I can't. I've went against the Bills once, and that was opening day. Probably won't be against them in this one, just because I'm not quite a Tua believer. I mean, he had a great game last game against the Ravens. So that final quarter was nuts, but I still ride the Bills here, even though I'm not going to bet on them because I don't bet with the public usually in these type of games. 80% of the money is on them at 4.5. So another need for Vegas would be the Dolphins here. But I could see a good defensive game at under 53. So
24-20.
Bills.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think again, Tua usually Dolphins start slow in these games. They started slow against Pats, started slow against the Ravens. It's just like the Dolphins have been making some stupid mistakes. Like, they muffed that punt last week. A lot of penalties on third down. They don't look like a 2-0 team right now. They look like a 1-1, like looking for a win here. Now, granted, they did come back down 4 touchdowns against the Ravens, so they deserve a 2-0 record, but I'm not a believer just quite yet. So
No. I mean, if you go back and watch those throws, Tua was still underthrowing open
for
Tyree. So
sure. Yeah,
I need something to go with him in order to believe with him.
for sure. The 0-2 Bengals take on the surprise 1-1 Jets here. Bengals come in at 6-point favorites heading to New York. Total sitting at 45. Money wise, 86% of the money and 73% of the bets come on Bengals -6, as well as 85% of the money and 63% of the bets on the over 45 here.
All right. The emotional factor is going to play a role in this. The Jets just had a win. They scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes, recovered an onside kick, win the game against the Browns last week. The Bengals are in a need of a win desperately. Last year, the Jets did beat the Bengals, but I think the Bengals are going to be out for blood this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is Bengals. The whole emotional factor from last week, I think the Jets fall back down to earth after last week.
Yeah, and obviously, people. I'm assuming. Before I look at these numbers, I assume that people are going to be backing the Jets, but surprisingly, they're not, and it's going up since I last looked at it. 86% of the bet, the money is a good margin in the NFL, so they're going to need the Jets again to cover and win at +205. I can't see that happening again. They are a home dog though, getting they can make it 7, which is a good number to have as a home dog. But one thing that has struggled for the Bengals this year is pass rush, and the Jets have none of that.
Yeah, the
So
Jets aren't the greatest at rushing the passer, so Burrow should have some time.
Could be a good matchup for Joe Burrow. So I lean the Bengals to win. I just don't know if they get the cover here in New York. Next game, another divisional game. Eagles take on the Commanders. I know you liked this game from the beginning as a possible upset with the revenge factor, but Eagles sitting at 6-point favorites. Over under sitting at 47.5. Kind of a low number in my opinion. Money wise, let's see. 83% of the bets, 76% of the money on Eagles at -6, as well as 68% of the bet money and 65% of the bets on the over of 47.5.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I'm big on narrative-based things when it comes to football, and this is the Carson Wentz revenge tour year. So week 1 he played against the Jags, a team that knocked him out of the playoffs last year, or that cost him a shot at the playoffs last year. He beat them, and now he's at home going against the team that drafted him and then got rid of him. The Commanders' offense has looked pretty decent. I mean, Carson Wentz has looked bad at times, but he's been able to bring them back into games.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see this definitely being close. I don't know if the Commanders fully win, but I'm fully on them covering.
I like it. And I think, if they're saying basically this is in Philly, it's a 3-point game, doesn't make much sense to me. I think there should be a 10-point spread, 10.5-point game for the Eagles, especially how good they looked on Monday Night Football. I mean, they're coming off a short week, which could affect them, but they're a young team, young coach. I think they bounce back nicely after that Monday Night game, but I don't think they lose. But I think this game could come down to the last second field goal or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one, another good, not a great game, but a good game, another 6-point game. Vikings coming at home, -6-point favorites against the offensive superpower of Detroit. Money wise, coming into this game, Detroit is getting. I think they're getting money here. Yeah, they're getting 68% of the money, 72% of the bets at 6. Sharp money is also in the lines at +200 money line, and the public is hammering the over at 52, which is not a surprise to me.
So last year when these teams played, they played twice. Both the games were decided on the last drive of the game. So that is also a driving factor in why it's tempting to take the Lions. The Vikings, not a lot of people are going to be on them after that Monday night game, but that's Kirk Cousins' prime time for it. He's going to suck in prime time, and then in the 1 o'clock window, he's going to
Bounce back.
go off. The Jared Goff has not been like that great a quarterback. He's throwing like under 60% on the year, which is not good. Then you have
He's throwing a shit ton though. He's throwing the ball a lot,
yeah,
which
like no, their offense is like good. Like they're getting the ball down the field, but their defense has not been that great. Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson had 3 sacks in the first half last year or last game. Um, but that was against a bad Commanders offensive line. I think this Vikings offensive line is better. Everybody was roasting the Vikings offensive line for like years. Now it's at a point where it's like serviceable.
mm-hmm.
I think Justin Jefferson has a big bounce back game after last week because he was kind of clamped up by Darius Slay. There's nobody on this Lions team that I think can take away Justin Jefferson.
No.
There's no big name in the secondary. I think Irv Smith, because the first week we didn't see much of him because apparently he was only going to be running routes on like 30% of snaps. Would have loved to know that before the game.
Yeah.
But then we saw him last week running full snaps. He should have had 2 touchdowns. He dropped a wide open like 60-yard touchdown. But he still had 8 targets that game. So he's looking to be a focal point of this offense.
Yeah,
Dalvin Cook.
I think it'll be a bit bigger play this week.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook is not been who we thought he would be to start off the year. This is a good spot for him to step in. The Lions aren't the greatest at defending running backs. Even though history has said this is going to be close, I'm really tempted just to take the Vikings in this.
I don't blame you. I mean, bounce back for Kirk, bounce back for the team in Minnesota in general. Usually you see that bounce back after a Monday night loss, especially in a divisional game where they, they're pissed off. The Vikings are, I think, and so is Kirk after that dreadful performance on primetime again, 3 picks to a touchdown. It's gonna be a home favorite need for Vegas too, which is not usually the case. So I personally lay the 6 here. I think this could be a blowout. I think at some point Lions have to regress. Back down to earth at some point. This is not that good of a team. They got 2 playmakers on offense and Swift, who's at one play he could be out for the season, and Maha St. Brown. If you just look, he's gonna get his own. He's gonna get his 6-7 catches a game, but if you limit him in the open field, I think this could be a struggle for Detroit in this one.
Yeah, he's this year's Cooper Kupp compared, like if you listen to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Of course, every year there's a new superstar through week 2. So let's hold the brakes on that a little bit. Week 3 coming in. I think this could get ugly for Detroit heading to Minnesota. Next game, Ravens take on my Patriots in Foxborough. Patriots open up as 3-point dogs. Lines probably going to close it at 2.5. You're going to see some light money coming on New England at home. Money-wise, public's hammering to eat the Ravens at 2.5. 90% of the money, 88% of the bets. Sharp play in this one's going to be the under at 43.5.
I mean, I like only
that. Only with the rate the Patriots stay in this game is the under. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
The Patriots need to try to establish Damian Harris in this game. I think they need to try to manage the clock. Don't let Lamar have a lot of time, because if you give Lamar time, he's bound to do something to get like a big play, whether it be with his legs or he's going to hit Bateman down the field or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This game is tricky because it's Bill Belichick and he's going to find a way to try to contain Lamar Jackson. I think they just have somebody spied on him the entire game. No, you have knowing them. The Patriots, I mean, they looked decent on offense last week, kind of. Like, yeah, they had the big play to Nelson Aguilar, which was just a jump ball. And then Jacoby Myers got his. But, like, they're still struggling to put points on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem. I think this Ravens offense isn't going to necessarily have problems putting up points. It's just a matter if the Patriots can try to keep up.
Like I said, yeah, I just think it's going to need to be a dogfight for the Patriots to have any type of shot at taking an upset here. I think it happens, though. I think the Patriots are quick enough at certain positions to hold Lamar in the middle of the field. I think they not upgraded, but got different at linebacker. Got rid of Hightower. They got faster, better athletes at the linebacker position, which I think could improve their run defense. It has already this year. I mean, this Patriots defense. I'm not saying it's a top 10, top 5 defense, but it has played pretty well in these first 2 weeks. And they held the Dolphins to what was it? Like 10
20,
points. Yeah,
20
but
in the game.
it was 13 in that last dog shit touchdown at the end. But they're holding that team. We just put up 40 on this Ravens team. So am I worried about the Lamar effect? Of course, that's every game. Lamar could go off any game he wants to, but the Patriots have the athletes on the defensive side and the coaching and Bill Belichick to plan ahead for this game and prepare for Lamar. On the outside, I think their receivers are going to struggle with Duggar, McCourty in the back. I think they should have like I said, planning is huge for Lamar. I think they planned for him nicely in this game. I have the Patriots upset here at 2.5.
Patriots just need to try to control the clock. If I'm the Patriots and I win the coin toss, I'm taking the ball first and I'm milking as much clock as possible.
Or I agree. Next game. Raiders 0-2 take on the 0-2 Titans. Raiders opened up, I think, as a 3-point favorite. Dropped to 2.5. Now it's down to 2.
No, they
Money
were down
wise,
to 1.
Oh, it was.
It started at
Mine's
1, then 1.5, and now 2. So it's going more people are going on the Raiders.
Correct. Raiders getting 73% of the handle, 74% of the bets. It's all over here too. 60% of the over, 60% of the money's in the over, 55% of the bets. This looks like a need for Vegas, a huge need. It's just Titans. Now the thing is, I know it's Josh McDaniels. It doesn't have a great coaching resume, but do you think he starts out 0-3 with this team?
Well, do you think Mike Vrabel starts off 0-3?
I mean, I think the Raiders are a better team than the Titans on paper.
The problem is not the Patriots. The Raiders have nobody for run defense, and they're going against Derrick Henry, who hasn't had a Derrick Henry game yet this season. Yeah, you're gonna get Derrick Henry at home. I mean, yeah, they've just lost their left tackle for the year, but he runs all Derrick Henry's runs are like in the inside, right? So you'd want defensive tackles and D linemen out there for the Raiders. They don't have that. So this could be. I think I like the Titans in this game. The Titans, I think, are due for a game. The Raiders blew the game last week. They had that game won, and then they blew it to Arizona. Hunter Renfrow fumbling twice did not help. Yeah, and then the Titans again got demoralized on Monday Night Football against the Bills. They got destroyed. So again, bounce back spot in my opinion.
Really embarrassed in my opinion, but yeah, I can't really disagree with you. I think you just said that. I think Derrick Henry just needs to come out and be Derrick Henry. I know they just lost Luan for the year basically, which is a big hit for them on the O line. But come on, man, you got to put this team in your back. I know it's a lot to ask for because he's been doing it for a little bit now, and last year with the ankle and everything. But this is your game, man. You got to step up and take this team, put this team on your back, and go for your typical 100+ 2 touchdown game, and get a win here at home.
I think we get vintage Derrick Henry this week.
I hope so. All right. Saints, I think another great divisional game. We're going to start getting some more here. Saints at 2.5 on the road at Carolina. Saints are getting, I know the Saints are going to be on that. Yeah, Saints are getting 65% of the money, 70% of the bets. They're also getting 70% of the money on the money line at -130. Over-under sitting at just about even, 50-50 money-wise, over-under at 41. I think we both agree on this one. I see an upset here as well.
I do, but it hurts me to say it, though, because the Panthers have sucked the first 2 years of games. Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield literally just looks like Sam Darnold, in my opinion. The offensive numbers are the exact same as they were last year. So he's not the improvement so far that everybody thought that the Panthers were going to be fringe playoff team. No way. I've seen places where they have the Panthers ranked as the worst team in the league. I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't think I can go that far.
No, I can't go that far. But yeah,
their defense isn't like playing bad.
In a game, another game where if as a team, if you love your coach and Matt Rule, which I'm not saying they do or don't, but this is starting to get into the territory where these are turning into must-win games for their coach and their coaching staff. And Baker, I mean him too. If Sam Darnold comes back after week 4 and you're 0-4, I'm sorry, buddy, but your job's gone.
I mean, luckily they didn't give up a whole lot for him, but they I think had to eat that contract, which was bad.
No, but you also got to think of this. Like they gave up a lot for Darnold.
Yeah, they gave up way more for Darnold than they did for
So
Baker.
they're gonna invest more time and possibly a longer leash with Darnold than they are Baker. They could cut Baker after week 4 and say see you later and not really lose much in value, in my opinion. But
it sucks that they can't have Matt Corral come and play because he's out for the year. Because if at this point I could really consider just putting in Matt Corral, but I mean Winston on the other side, dude will throw like 3 picks a game. He doesn't care. He's just gonna sling the rock. I don't know if Kamara's playing. He's questionable right now. I think he plays.
Does it really matter? He has had no effect.
Well, he didn't play last week, and then
he was out last week.
Yeah, he was out last week.
Okay.
But like the Saints team is confusing. Like their defense is good. This is going to be a low scoring game, in my opinion. But like Winston has the weapons to work with now. This isn't the Saints of last year where you were throwing a Traquan Smith and Marquez Callaway. You got Michael Thomas back, who looks like Michael Thomas right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have Chris Olave, who can take it over top. You have Jarvis Landry, who's like a safety net almost. Like you have pieces to work with. Winston,
and a good O-line. Decent O-line.
Yeah, they lost Tron Armstead, but still, it's serviceable. Winston, I think, just needs to not be as careless with the ball, and I don't think he has that in him.
There's not really much else to say about Winston. I mean, yeah, he didn't go for, one game he could go for 320, 4 touchdowns. The next game he'd go for, 220 and 4 picks. So you just got to ride the wave a little bit. I think if Kamara is in this game, I think he's going to be a huge fantasy play for people.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get a huge volume here. Try to keep the, time of possession on the Saints side here, especially on that road. And I'm basically, again, I know it's week 3, but a lot of must-win scenarios for these teams coming to week 3. Titans must win, Raiders must win, Panthers must win. These are week 3, week 4. You're starting to get into some hot seats, and Saints are gonna have to control time of possession for in this game on the road. I think I'm not gonna bet on it they do, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I mean, Carolina up front, not great. Again, a shitty game in my opinion. I don't think I'm putting any money in this game, but I like the value at plus 115 of Carolina at home in a must-win.
If I'm going anywhere, I would just go the under. I don't see a lot of points in this game.
All right, speaking of under, Texans at Chicago. What a snooze fest of a freaking NFL game.
It seems like everybody's loving the Bears in this spot.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Shane. The money line's sitting at $1.50 right now for the Bears, and they're getting 81% of the money and 65% of the bets. But to add to that, the Sharps are on Texans at +3 now. They're getting 58% of the money and 54% of the bet. 46% of the bets. Sharp money coming in on Texans at the +3 line.
Yeah, I like the Texans. This first of all, my favorite thing, the revenge game narrative. You get Lovie Smith coaching, going up against the Bears. The Bears, in my opinion, are the worst team in the league. There's no way about it. Remember, I literally predicted this last week. Justin Fields would have less than 150 passing yards. He threw the ball 11 times. If you're down and you're not trusting your quarterback to throw the ball to try to come back in a game, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's not good.
This Texas team has actually been surprising me with how they're playing. Like their defense doesn't look half bad. Yeah, their defense doesn't look half bad. They were able to hold the Broncos in check, but who even knows what's going on with the Broncos? Davis Mills, I think he's like probably the surprise of the past couple of years. I didn't know this. Did you know he was a 5-star recruit?
Yeah, Stanford, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the second. So he was. So I heard about this last year. He was the second quarterback in his high school class. Guess who was behind?
Some trash boat.
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so they had him as the second. They had him as the second best quarterback for a hot minute, and
he played pretty well in Stanford. I mean, I think if he went to a better school, I'm not saying Stanford's a bad college football school, but if he went to Ohio State or Michigan, he'd be more known as a college quarterback. But I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's done anything to deserve to lose his job or to get looked at somewhere like other options. But at a certain point, I think he's the type of guy where he can only do so much.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to win you playoff games. I think he's going to be a decent, starter right now. And then as time goes on, I think he becomes a, lifelong NFL backup.
he'll be like a Ryan Fitzpatrick. Seems like, but offensive weapon wise, I like the Texans more. They have Brandon Cooks. They have Damian Pierce. This is going to be a low scoring game, in my opinion. This is just going to be run the ball nonstop, both sides of the ball. It's just going to be Dave Montgomery versus Damian Pierce. Because I don't think the Bears trust Justin Fields. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to pick up his 5th-year option. I don't think they're going to re-sign him. I just don't think it's what is working there right now. And I don't know how they solve this issue, but they traded up to
if
get him.
if that ends up happening, I don't know, dude. That whole franchise is down the tubes. If they don't end up giving him a contract and it's that bad, man, I don't see how you go forward. Like you just start
Well,
over again.
you're going to pay a quarterback to throw the ball 11 times a game?
No, I know, but
Because he's
thank
going to
God I'm
want
not
a
in
decent
charge.
contract.
Jesus.
He's going to want a decent contract after his rookie deal. But has he done really anything to show that he deserves it?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. That's my point. I don't trust a single person on this Bears offense unless you're David Montgomery because he'll just get a lot of touches.
Mm-hmm.
So volume alone, he's viable. This
Like
defense, I don't like.
Even Cole Kmet has gotten like no looks.
Yeah,
at all.
he was supposed to be a fantasy sleeper. He looks trash. Darnell Mooney, everybody was loving Darnell Mooney. He's the clear number one here now. Allen Robinson's gone. Non-existent. Non-factor. I don't think they trust Justin Fields. And that is my stance on that. I like that. The Texans have more trust in Davis Mills than the Bears do in Justin Fields. I think Davis Mills so far has proven to be better than Justin Fields. Davis Mills has more weapons. I think so far he has the better coach. Everything
Agreed.
just points Texans to me.
Agreed. All right, let's hop right into the 4 o'clock window here. A very interesting game. So this line, I believe, opened up as a 7-point game, even with the Herbert injury, news associated with it. This line is now at 3, and the money is not as like one-sided as I thought it would be. Chargers getting 52% of the money, almost 70% of the bets at the 3 line. Sharp money, a lot of sharp money coming on the under 42.5 here. 70% of the money, but only 48% of the bets. So looks like a snooze fest of a game.
Is it like I like the upset here? Justin Herbert, we don't know what's going on with his ribs. They say he's good to go or whatever, but he could just be saying that because he wants to go play. He could actually have a problem with his ribs.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, I'm pretty sure not playing. So that's one less person they have to worry about for the Jaguars. Jaguars defense has actually looked pretty solid the first couple weeks. And their offenses they're like one of those surprise teams this year where they're actually taking a step because guess what? They actually have a head coach that's not going to bars, putting his hand up girls' asses in Urban Meyer. But in general, I'm a huge fan of this Jaguars team, so it's hard. Do I see the Chargers starting off 1-2 to start the year? No. But is it a realistic opportunity here? Yeah.
Of course it's realistic, especially if Herbert's like as hurt as people say, broken rib cartilage is not a joke. I don't know if you've heard about, but it's some people say it's worse than a freaking broken rib, and it takes longer to recover. And especially for a quarterback, his ribs are huge, so he couldn't even at one point last game he couldn't even throw the ball, and then next play he throws it for 40 yards and a touchdown. So it's weird to look at him as injury with an injury right now, but I mean the line says he's pretty banged up. So this is a total stay away from me money wise. I am not touching this game. I'd love to see what happens because to be honest, Shane, this could be a blowout. If
Yeah, it
Herbert
could be a
comes in
blowout.
healthy, this could be ugly. Especially, I know Chargers don't really have a home field advantage, but Chargers at home, this
Jacksonville's
could.
also coming off that big win last week where they shut out a division rival, so they could be due to like a get right spot, not get right, but like back to normality
Back to
spot.
the earth. It's kind of like a Lions
Yeah.
spot. I agree.
Chargers also blew another game in week 2 with the Chiefs. Like and they almost blew the game week 1. So I don't.
Yep.
Maybe people were overhyping the Chargers in some sense because they just can't like get a grip on games, and
Yeah.
they start letting it slip. I don't know if that's a coaching thing. I don't know if that's a player thing, like a mentality thing. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a
But
huge Staley fan to begin with. I mean, there's not really much else to say. The guy goes for it way too much. In certain areas, of course, you want to go for it. It's you
at
all
your
play
own
aggressive.
18, how about that?
No, I won't know. So I'm not a huge and the coaching factor here. I'm pretty sure I give it to the Jaguars just because Super Bowl winning coach. He's got this team playing pretty well. I give the coaching edge to the Jags. But I already said I'm not touching this game whatsoever.
If I were to do one thing on this game, it's the under. I like the under in this game. I don't see a lot of points.
But it also scares me though because like I said, if Herbert comes out and he's good, he could put up 40 on this team.
I'm a huge fan of this Jaguars team, so I might be a little skewed on this. But
Yeah.
I think their defense is playing pretty well.
No, I think it's playing great for what what everyone expected. But it's still Justin Herbert. It's still Keenan Allen. I think he'll be ready to go. Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. It's still a lot to handle for a young Jaguars team traveling with no fans probably. It's a tough.
If
it's
the
a tough game.
Jaguars win this game, it's huge for them.
That's huge game.
They might be the front runners for the AFC South if
That's
they win
sad.
this game.
Very sad.
Maybe that's just what this team needed. They needed a coaching change. Urban Meyer just wasn't it.
Definitely wasn't it. But all right, let's move on. Packers and the Buccaneers.
Oh God.
Buccaneers come in as a 1-point favorite. This game is probably gonna be a pick'em by a kickoff. Money wise, let's see. Sorry. Buccaneers, it's about 50-50, getting 55% of the money. 63% of the bets. Sharp money is on Packers at minus 105 right now, getting 55% of the money. Only 44% of the bets. Also sharp money on the under here. Under's getting 52% of the money and only 37% of the bets at 42.
Give me the Buccaneers.
Really?
I know you're probably shocked to hear that from me,
I
but
am.
like the Packers literally just lost Sammy Watkins, who was one of their primary options. He's on IR. The Bucs defense is known for being a run defense team. They haven't really showed it this year. It's been not looking as what it was, but I think they can still be pretty good at stopping the run. And the Packers, I think, only have a shot in games if they can start establishing the run right now.
Yeah.
They can't really throw the ball. And the Bucs arguably have the best pass defense in the league.
Yeah, I know you're not a huge fan of their secondary. I love their secondary.
I mean, they showed out last week for the Bucs. Like this looks kind of like a polar opposite to what they were last year defensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Kind of flip flop. I mean, not that they're bad their front seven. But
they're not playing as like 60 yards allowed on the ground per game like they were last year. But both elite all-time quarterbacks with nobody to throw to.
Kind of sad, to be honest.
I like the under in this game. I still don't see a lot of points in this game.
No, I see a 2017 Bucs win.
Yeah, I think the Bucs get out with a win here.
And
it's weird to see. Well, it's not weird to see the Bucs 3-0. It's weird to see how they're being 3-0 because their offense hasn't looked good this year.
No,
mind you, they played the Cowboys and the Saints.
Brady starts slow usually, so not a huge surprise that they're starting off a little slow. Of course, the drama off the field. Godwin's not healthy.
Evans is out for this game.
No Gronk. Evans is out too, so it's going to be a slow-paced game.
It's looking like running. I think Julio is playing, so like he's going to be their best receiving option on the field for either side.
And Cole Beasley is playing.
Yeah, they just elevated him, but like I'm not looking for a whole lot from him.
No, of course not.
He's
All
literally
right.
just an older Scotty Miller, so
Yeah, I agree. Another divisional game. Rams take on the Cardinals today. Rams come in at 3.5 point favorites. Traveling to Arizona in the 4 o'clock window. They are getting 61% of the bets. Sorry, 61% of the money, 73% of the bets. They're also getting 72% of the money and 76% of the bets in the money line. And the public is also hitting the over pretty well too at 70% of the bets at 48.5. Shane?
yeah, I love the Cardinals in this game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cardinals upset. Plus 155 on the money line. Book it.
This Rams team just does not look.
It's not
Something's
exciting.
wrong.
It's not
Something's
exciting.
wrong with this team. Their secondary, like, yeah, they can get a pick or two or whatever, but like, they almost let the Falcons back in the game last week.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Ramsey, I mean, yeah, he had the game-stealing pick or whatever. Otherwise, he doesn't look like Jalen Ramsey right now.
No, not at all.
I think Matthew Stafford's elbow, I think, is still bothering him. He's looking too much towards Cooper Kupp, which is a problem. If they just dial in on Cooper Kupp, then what else is going to happen?
But I mean, I don't really feel bad for him. You gotta get some Higbee action going on here.
Higbee will be relevant in this offense up until Van Jefferson gets back, and then
he's not.
I mean, he's getting the targets.
Yeah, but not really though. He's getting like I think he's getting garbage time targets, like Dalton Schultz got in the last Cowboys game. He's getting garbage, and he got hurt in that garbage time. But he's not getting like 2nd and 8, down the middle throws like he should, in my opinion. In my opinion, he's your second best guy right now. I'm not a huge Jefferson fan.
But Allen Robinson?
Sorry, Allen Robinson. I've never been a Robinson fan since he came in the league, to be honest with you. I think they got to use Higbee more at the 50. And I think they got to use him more in the red zone.
I mean, they also just have a problem in their backfield because I don't think they know whether or not Cam Akers is ready or not. He
won't ever be ready again.
God awful last year. He was like the most inefficient running back to ever set foot on the field last year. And they're just confused on whether to let Henderson be the guy, which they're both around the same age. So it's like you're gonna have to commit to one of these guys at some point, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Akers had some glimpses last week, but again, against the Falcons, it's not really a huge.
Yeah, I'm not looking into that.
No. Their offensive line, way worse than what it was last year. They lost Whitworth, which is showing.
Huge loss.
That is showing. So Joseph Noteboom or whatever his name is, Noteboom. He's getting destroyed this season.
Agreed. I think it's tough. I think Rams. I personally have the Rams future over 10.5 wins. I think it's gonna be a struggle to get there.
I mean, I think they're gonna eventually face off against some teams where they're more capable. Like the Seahawks, I think that's 2 wins right there alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what the rest of the schedule off the top of my head, but they have the ability to win against good teams. It's just a matter of consistency, which has been a struggle the whole year.
I just don't even know what to say about this. I'm not excited. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm
Super
not
Bowl
excited
hangover?
to watch them. Yes and no. I think it'd be a Super Bowl hangover if they weren't veterans. These are all guys who've been there, done that. Stafford's not a young kid. I think he knows how to prepare and get ready for a season after Super Bowl. Not saying he's done it before because obviously it's his first time, but I think they got enough veterans and leaders in that team to get their shit together. But as of right now, I'm not a believer. And I'm gonna take the points here with the Cardinals at home plus 3.5. And this sounds like an overreaction. I love the word overreaction after what we just saw from the Cardinals. They still got problems. They still got no D-Hop, still got no more. Offensive line
defense
still butt
is
cheeks.
Defense is a problem.
Oh yeah, the secondary might be the worst I've ever seen in my life. So if this becomes a Matt Stafford game and he's back, this could be a blowout. It could be.
Yeah.
Another 3-point game where this could get ugly. But I'm not trusting Stafford as of right now until I see him do something. And Cardinals Arizona is not an easy place to play either.
No.
So I like the points here at 3.5.
Agreed.
Next game might be the worst game on the slate. Falcons take on the Seahawks. 1-point game. I don't even know why we're going to
This
talk
is
about this, but
this game's starting to worry me a bit.
well, it's one of the most bet on games in the slate. They're getting 80% Falcons at +1, getting 80% of the money, 61% of the bets. They're also getting 71% of the money on the money line at -105.
I mean, the Falcons haven't looked bad the first couple weeks. They just can't put together a full game. And then, on the other hand, I think the hardest place to play in football is Seattle.
For sure.
So, like, that alone can be a problem. And you got Marcus Mariota as the other quarterback going into Seattle. That doesn't, like, he hasn't played bad really this season either, but, like, where's Kyle Pitts? That's my question. He's just where is he? I mean, Drake London has been blowing up. But I mean, you drafted Kyle Pitts in the first round last
you gotta
year.
use him. You gotta get him involved. Play action or something. You gotta use him.
Like, I just don't know what they're doing. I mean, defensively, I think they need help on defense. They've been prone to a lot of points.
For sure.
So, I mean, this could be the Metcalf game that comes up.
One thing though, which I did like what I saw in the Falcons game against the Rams, they didn't quit.
No, they don't quit.
They don't. They were playing tough D all the way up to that end, and they wanted to win that game so bad. I saw it, man. They wanted to win that game really bad.
Yeah,
so I like the fight they're giving, but talent-wise, it's just not there.
This is the battle of two bad teams. Who do you trust more, Marcus Mariota or Geno Smith?
Mariota. I think Mariota is the type of guy who, just like Tyrod Taylor, we've said this a million times, he's a guy who's not going to lose the game for you, but he's also a guy who's not going to win the game.
You could say the same thing about Geno Smith, though, is the problem.
No, I think Geno Smith will go for the deep ball more than Mariota will. I think because he likes to be more aggressive with the football. Mariota is one of those guys who will take a slide 3 yards shy of the first down. Geno Smith is going to force it and go for that first down and possibly a fumble or situation there. I think Geno Smith is more of the aggressive type. I think Mariota is more of a conservative quarterback, in my opinion.
Like, before the week started, I was all over the Falcons, but now that I see that everybody is on the Falcons,
everybody.
I'm starting to lean Seahawks now.
Everybody's on them, and the line hasn't moved.
That looks shady.
To be honest, this game should be Falcons should be favored in this game if all this money's on them. This should be a -2 Falcons game right now.
Yeah, that's why it looks shady.
Yeah, I agree.
So Seattle, in my opinion, is the way to go at this point.
All right. First primetime game of week 3, Sunday Night Football. Niners sitting at -1.5 point favorites, traveling to Denver, a tough place to play in primetime. Money-wise, they're getting 80% of the money, 74% of the bets. And you and I agree on this. Primetime, you fade the public. So I'm gonna fade the public.
It says to fade the public here, yes, but dude, this Broncos team, there's something not clicking. This Niners offense looks a lot better with Jimmy Garoppolo there, probably because of familiarity.
Yeah, but I'm gonna sold the horses right there. That team prepared for a running quarterback in Trey Lance. They had not prepared for a pocket quarterback in Jimmy G. So let's slow the horses down on how good Jimmy G looked in that game for one.
I'm not saying he looked great or whatever, but I'm saying this offense as a whole, I think, is more comfortable with a guy that can just sit in the pocket and pass the ball. Because we saw it last year. This is basically the same offense.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything says to take the Niners. Like, they have the better offense, in my opinion. Like, Judy's, I don't think, playing.
Not solidified as out, but he leaning towards out.
I don't think he plays. Defensively, I don't think Pat Surtain's going to be there for the Broncos. The Broncos don't really have a pass rush.
I think he's out. Yeah, shoulder. I think he's out.
Yeah. They don't really have a pass rush, so Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have all day. So far this season, who are you going to say looks more impressive, the Niners or the Broncos? You're going to say Niners.
I think the Niners have looked better. I think it's time for Russ to show his balls.
Yeah, I think it's time it's ride season. We got to ride with the Broncos.
You have to.
But it feels wrong to do it, but it's what has to be done, in my opinion. Because
Agreed.
before the season, I wasn't a believer in this Broncos team, and I'm still not. Like, as you get the quarterback doesn't mean that you're there. There's a lot of holes
Agreed.
on this team.
For sure. For sure. All right, Monday Night Football. Cowboys
Oh,
taking
God.
your Giants here. It's basically a pick 'em. Cowboys at getting a point. Sharp money coming in on Dallas at +1. They're getting 56% of the money, 46% of the bets. Giants are also getting 78% of the bets on the money line at -115, and 54% of the bets. Sorry, 70% of the money on the 115, 55% of the bets on the money line. Over about 50-50 over on at 39.
See, I said that because I picked against the Giants twice, and they're 2-0, and they're my team. So I have a huge stake in this. My problem is this is going to be a defensive game. I think that's obvious. It's going to be low scoring defensive battle because both defenses have looked good this season. The offenses, you have Cooper Rush and Daniel Jones. I mean, come on now.
Mm-hmm.
But the best player on the field at any point is going to be Micah Parsons. So if he can become a game record this on Monday, I don't think there's a shot the Giants win this game.
Really?
I don't think there's a chance. If Micah Parsons can like perform and he's not like double teamed every play, I think this is like a 2010 game. This Giants offense has not shown any spring of life. Sure, Daniel
No, not
Jones
at
is
all.
completing the ball at a high rate. Yeah, but he's throwing the ball like 3 or 4 yards each play. That's nothing. Kenny Galladay's cleaning out his locker, so that's great.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
crazy.
he's been trashed since he got here. You can be pissed off about you not getting play time. It's called play better, and then you can actually play. Still having problems with his like hamstring or whatever. Richie James is our number one receiver. Do you like Richie James as your number one receiver?
Not bad.
Shut up. Like, it's hard for me to pick against the Giants 3 weeks in a row. Especially because they've started off 2-0, and I'm picking Cooper Rush to win here.
Yeah, it's definitely tough.
But I think the Cowboys win this game.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be on the Cowboys here. Cowboys. Cooper Rush looks pretty good, in my opinion. I'm just not a Daniel Jones primetime home game.
Giants are also like
pass.
0-6 on Monday night games. They're past 6, so there's that to go with it too. There is no right reason why the Giants are going to start off the season 3-0. I can't. Yeah. I cannot. If they start off 3-0, I think Brian Dable should already be locked in as coach of the year. I think that's just that. Wow. I think that just proves the difference of him versus Joe Judge and Pat Shurmur.
Yeah.
And Ben McAdoo. But look, I don't see anything. I mean, the defense is playing surprisingly well, even without Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari, who I think should be ready to play this week. So maybe it's just going to be a battle of the versus Parsons. But I don't see points in this game at all. I don't see why there should be points in this game at all. Unless CD can break one off. That's about it.
Yeah, but I think Cowboys are going to play conservative. I think it's going to be both teams run heavy the whole game. So I agree with the under here. All right, let's get into your little fantasy report.
All right, let's get down to this. All right, so for starts, people are sleeping on Joe Flacco still. He's thrown for over 300 yards the first 2 games. So if you are in desperate need of a quarterback or you're in a super flex league where you need to start 2 quarterbacks, if Joe Flacco for some reason is available, you start him with confidence, I think. I think that game against the Bengals is going to be higher scoring than what people think. So the only way they're going to score a lot of points is if Joe Flacco can get involved. Miles Sanders, Commanders' defense stinks. I think that can be said without any argument. They can't defend the running backs. They let DeAndre Swift fall on like a screenplay, and he was still able to score without being touched for like 30 yards. That's a problem. Drake London at receiver, he has 19 targets in 2 weeks. The Seahawks don't really have corners that can match up with him. He's your big jump ball type guy. if they still aren't looking the way of Kyle Pitts, it's going to be the Drake London show. And even still, I think Drake London gets involved. To stack with Joe Flacco, I have Tyler Conklin. He has 16 targets in the last 2 weeks. He's probably available in a lot of leagues because nobody thinks to go for a Jets tight end, or people really go for tight end swaps in general, especially if you have one of the top guys. And then for defense, I have the Niners defense as a start and like a viable start. This Broncos offense hasn't shown me anything yet, so until they do, I'm going to be very low on them. And the Niners defense is arguably one of the best defenses in the league. And then for sits, Tom Brady I have as a sit. He just hasn't looked like Tom Brady to start the year. He's going to be without some of his main weapons in what should be a lower scoring game. I'm not like, it feels weird to say to sit Tom Brady, but I just don't have trust in him at the moment. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. You can sit them both. Devin Singletary's a sit. The Buffalo backfield's still a mess. They're still looking to get James Cook more and more involved every week, even though he fumbled on his first carry. Devin Singletary isn't guaranteed like any touches. Like he's the lead guy right now, but it's not really. It's just a huge committee. Darnell Mooney, sit him. The Chicago offense sucks. The only person you should think about playing in that offense is Devin Singletary or David Montgomery. Sorry. Albert O from the Broncos, their tight end. Too inconsistent. He went for 0 points last week. He's going to be on Fred Warner, who is the best coverage linebacker in the league. So if the Broncos move the ball, it's going to be either by running the ball or getting it to like Cortland Sutton. I don't see Albert O being involved too heavily. And for defense, I have the Chargers defense because the Jaguars offense has shown that they can move the ball down the field. The Chargers defense, J.C. Jackson is getting cooked by Justin Watson last week. So I think Christian Kirk and Zay Jones or whoever can have success on this defense. Yes, they can have pass rush. They might get a few sacks, but they could also allow a lot of points, and that's just going to negate all the sacks, and they could end you up with like 0 points. And that is my starts and sits for this week.
All right, Shane. Great work as always, my dude. Anything else for the boys here?
You just don't put money on the Giants. That's about
That's
it.
coming from a Giants fan. Put money on the Patriots, though. As a Patriots fan. We'll catch you next week, next Sunday. Peace out.
See you.